talk to me about how, at this point in your life, you go out and speak to folks in risk management about your life story.
Yes. So for quite a few years now, ever since my sons were born, they were born in 2004, I've done professional speaking full time. Before that, I would take days off from work to share my story of I was in a plane crash that I survived, and it was a result of human error. And so I walk my audiences through what caused the plane crash, but then I try to tie that back to whatever industry they're in. You know, you don't have to be in aviation to commit these same mistakes that these pilots committed in the cockpit of the flight that I was in that went down, and it ended up killing not only the pilots, but 158 other people besides just their lives. So 160 people total lost their lives just because of a series of mistakes and oversights and little shortcuts that they were taking in that cockpit. And so it's a very powerful reminder is that we can be the best trained people. We can have the most resources available for us to make good, safe decisions on a daily basis. But knowing about safety, knowing about risk management, and then actually putting those best practices into action every day, there's a huge gap on any given day where knowing about it and actually putting it into action sometimes just doesn't match up. And so that's what's bringing me much joy, is sharing this, that it's not just a senseless tragedy, but if people can actually learn from it, then maybe those 160 lives are out there being angels, saving so many other lives, because it highlights of how we can all be guilty of making those same mistakes.
Have you ever been approached, or has anyone from the airline industry maybe been sitting in one of your presentations and come up to you after and said, hey, thank you for doing this?
Yes, I've had many different client organizations where it's just a vast array of different industries that are in the audience all at the same time. And I've had many pilots, many people who are in charge of the emergency response teams for different airlines who've come up to me afterwards and who have told me, we did a case study on the plane crash that you survived. Like, it's kind of 101 of everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And it's heartening for me to know that so many people have studied the plane crash, have learned from it, and hopefully a lot of improvements have been made because of it.
Is it ever surreal for you that you are here, you're standing here today, there were only 2 other people who survived? Do you ever wake up some days and think, thank you, Lord, that I'm here?
There's no medical reason why any of us 4 survivors are alive. The fact that we're here, the fact that I'm able to walk and talk, and I have sight, and it's very sobering to know that one minute you're here, you're enjoying life, you're loving your loved ones, and the next day isn't necessarily promised. And so it definitely has made a huge difference in my life. I'm the first person to say I love you. I'm the first person to give people hugs when they come over and things like that, because I don't want anybody ever to take for granted how much they mean to me and how much they mean to the world.
Something that maybe needs to be talked about a little bit more. Doc, what do we have?
Lung cancer screening basically is very important in the community of McAllen, a growing community. And we have found that lung cancer, unfortunately, is a silent disease. Unfortunately, it's a disease that it gets diagnosed once we start having symptoms, start feeling bad, start feeling cough or shortness of breath.
But in this situation, sometimes we don't have that, do we?
Correct. And this is where the screening is trying to get tests right in timely manner to diagnose it early. It is extremely important.
Excellent.
It needs to be talked about.
And we're fortunate to have your Lieutenant Morales. First of all, thank you very much for sharing your experience. I think it gives the community, makes them aware of the possibilities of what needs to be done, or symptoms or lack of symptoms. If you could please tell us a little bit about
Sure, and that's
your
correct,
story.
Mayor. Yeah, absolutely. And I thank you for allowing me to be here today and share this message with RGV. But that was my case. I had no real symptoms of any kind. There was no pain or any other kind of symptom that I can think of. And if it wasn't for a cough, which unfortunately I dismissed as allergy or a cold, and I let it go. It wasn't until later when I did some testing that I found out that I had lung cancer.
Wow. And generally, what happens when somebody finds out?
When somebody finds out, like in the case of the lieutenant, recommend you have a CT scan and there is a spot, we should recommend that the patient should be seen by a pulmonologist early on so we can have an assessment. And if the risk is high enough, there are methods to diagnose with a tiny biopsy in the lungs with procedures that we perform here in McAllen to diagnose early lung cancer.
Excellent. And Lieutenant, a lot of times people think about or they hear about cancer, and like for example myself, I get scared immediately. I mean, can you tell us about your experience, what you've gone through?
My experience was, as the doctor described, I went through this process of trying to screen what was wrong with me. And eventually it led to a biopsy, which confirmed the cancer. So then you go through a process of escalating the treatment, whether you do it here locally or somewhere else. We have excellent doctors here in the Valley that can help you with it. But I think the main thing, Mayor, Doctor, is if you feel anything, you should get checked out. Because I ignored that. I should have gone to the doctor a lot sooner. A lot of doctors right now are saying, go get checked for colon cancer. And you can do the same thing for lung cancer and determine whether you have it or not. And then, doctor, I think you'll agree with me, the earlier you catch it, the better it is.
Our primary doctors here in the community, they know very well that patients that they have this risk, the age more than 50, the smoking exposure, primary doctors can order the low dose CTs, and if they find any spots, they should be seen by a pulmonologist to assess the risk and the need or the lack of need of any procedure to get to a final diagnosis.
Excellent. Well, Lieutenant, we thank you very much for your courage, for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
I think the Rio Grande Valley will appreciate the fact that, hey, you know what, there's individuals that want to share their story so that they can go do what they have to do. Doctor, thank you very much, because at the very end, we want a healthy RGV. We want a healthy RGV. We want to make sure that if we can save a life, we can do it. So thank you very much. And Doc, finally, can you please tell our community what they should do, where they should go, should they feel any concern?
We work in Pulmonary and Sleep Center of the Valley. You can go to our webpage, which is sleepdrs.com. And you can get an appointment. We have offices here in McAllen, in West Lacoya, and Mission. And nowadays, we work very closely with South Texas Health McAllen. We have campaigns for people without insurance or people with insurances even. The beauty that McAllen as a city is growing so fast, and we have more access to optimal medical care, and I want to inside of that. Locally, without the need to travel, we can have an adequate screening. We have a team of oncologists that have state-of-the-art treatments, and the community needs to know it.
Oh, definitely. Well, thank you very much, Doctor. I always, of course, Lieutenant, but anybody always, we have very good doctors here, a pulmonologist, Dr. Ray, or a physician of your choice. But it's very important that, you know, health is not just about you, it's about your family, it's about the community. So we welcome you to please, if you feel anything, please go check yourself out. Go to your primary physician, get a referral, do whatever you need to do. But RGV, stay healthy. Thank you so much.
I was so excited that you guys reached out. Like, I love talking about NASA and what I do. I think it's the most exciting thing you can be doing right now. So coming back to the Valley and actually seeing so many people excited about it, I think people kind of know NASA exists and we're doing some things, but all of a sudden this mission seemed to like reignite folks' interest and wanting to know more and more and how they can get involved. So I was super excited to come down here, and I love coming to the Valley anyway. I have family here, and I love the environment, I love the people. But then coming back and actually getting able to talk about what I do and just seeing like people really like interested in asking questions, it's fantastic.
You're working on things out of this world, but in your heart will always be McAllen.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the love you have for our city.
Absolutely love McAllen. Like I said, I was born and raised here, and my parents still live here. One of my sisters live here, so I visit quite a bit. It has changed so much. I mean, when I grew up here, it was a lot smaller, a lot less people, but I come home and it feels like home. I mean, there's obviously nicer restaurants, bigger things, bigger malls, bigger shopping, but it does feel like home. I spent, the first 18 years of my life here. All my schooling was here, and I love coming back and seeing friends of mine that have gone away and come back. One of my best friends is a teacher at Memorial High School, has been there for 25 years. So, I feel like I've stayed connected through the years, through things like Facebook and other social media, but coming back and just being here, I love it. I love everything about it.
This gathering is for municipalities, governments throughout the Region 12 area. How important is it that leaders stay engaged in space exploration?
Yeah, I think leaders need to stay engaged in space exploration. There's so much opportunity, and you don't know what benefits you're going to get. There obviously are like NASA technical spinoffs that happen all the time, and you can read about those online, new technologies that come out of NASA. But the collaboration that it takes to do a mission like this, I think, can be applied to any endeavor that you want to do, and within cities, states, nations, internationally. So I think it's important for people to watch what we're doing and try and get engaged and understand that it's about the technology development, it's about the partnership, it's about the collaboration, it's about the ownership and accountability. Like all those things that have to happen, to me, are lessons that you can learn from NASA that can be applied anywhere.
I have one important question for you about your upbringing. What would you say about your parents and how they instilled values in you to do what you're doing today?
I think the values probably most instilled in me growing up is this accountability. Like if you're going to say you're going to do something, you need to do it. Work with integrity. Don't say something unless you intend to follow through. And I think that's something my parents really instilled in me growing up, is that do everything you do with integrity and be honest. And if you make a mistake, own up to it. But move on and always know that you're someone that people can trust and that you're good for your word.
And for the folks who watch this interview, no matter what age they are, what would you say about gaining an education in science?
If you love science, I hope you do. Learn everything you can. I think no matter what field you go into, being an expert in that and learning everything you can about that helps you succeed. And so if you're a young person and you like NASA, you like science, you like space, you like math, I would get involved in those clubs in your school that do robotics. Get involved in those after-school activities that let you develop that beyond just the classroom. Look for jobs in those industries that you can actually get some real-world experience, even interns that aren't paid. And we have people that come in and I just want to learn. So the more hands-on experience you can get and the more you can get involved in all those extracurriculars, go for it, because there's unlimited opportunity with what we're doing with Artemis right now.
Well, we are so grateful that you visited. We hope you know how respected and valued you are
thank
to
you.
our community. We're so happy that you're here. Then you brought your sisters to listen to the presentation. We hope you come back.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you.